We show up in the party. We show up in the party.
Hey guys, welcome back to Astronaut. In this tutorial I am going to be showing you how to make your, well, in the previous tutorial that I made in Unreal Engine 5, it was how to make your own character blueprint and game mode and have your character in first person run around the map and jump and crouch and also sprint and also walk. Yeah. And so in this tutorial I am going to be having an actual mesh with actual animations with an actual rig. Now this might seem like it's complicated, I don't know, but it's really not. So there is nothing you need to worry about, and in fact let me just go and show you real quick the animations that we are going to be using. So as you can see, I have my tutorial game file over here. It's not the Epic Games project, that these are just the assets, and this in here I have a folder named characters and here a folder named animations. So first of all, let's go over here to characters, and I have exported. Yeah, hey guys, just a quick note over here, you must not have your armature named armature in Unreal Engine, otherwise that will mess up the whole process. Instead, what I did was make it, name it character rig. My character as well as my animations, those are probably going to be on Sketchfab for you to download. And if you haven't done anything in Unreal Engine, I will probably have the link to the description, the link to the video in the description below the previous video I made. Yeah, so this is him, this is the Astro character. I have also shown you how to export your character, so I'm not going to be going really over that, but it's basically the process that I showed you. But when exporting your animations, you also need to tick bake animation. If you don't have an animation, just untick that. Anyway, so over here, this is our character with his rig. It's a basic rig. I have shown you how to make a lot of rigs. Maybe I don't know if I have shown you how to make many rigs, but I don't know if I have shown you how to make the jaw rig, and I haven't really gotten into much detail. Now this is not perfect, but it's going to be just good for our purposes, as I'm not even going to have my character speaking, at least in this tutorial. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and close that, and then go to animations. And over here you need 6 animations for the basic animation blueprint for how the character is going to be moving, and that is going to be the idle, this walk, the sprint, the jump, the crouch, and the idle crouch. So basically what those are, you know, the idle is when you're not doing anything, the walk is when you're walking, sprint is for when you're sprinting, jump is for when you're jumping, the crouch is for when you're crouching. And what I really need to stress is that you also need to have an idle crouched animation. That is the idle animation you're going to have when you're pressing down the C button, which is the crouch button, but you're not moving, because otherwise if you assign the crouch animation to it, the character will be moving, and that's not going to be great. Okay, so now let me just explain some things over here. First of all, let's open up the walk animation. And yeah, let me show you real quick what I have done. Okay, so I made a mistake in the walk and sprint animations. That's what I'm going to show you, because there was something that really bothered me whenever I wanted to make the walk animations. If I remember correctly, when I started the positions from this and then went on to animate the feet, so when I started from this and then went to this and then back to this and then to this and then that. Okay, so when I started from the, let's say, idle position, the thing is that I think I got some things wrong. Now I think it delayed a little bit. So yeah, something I happened to see, I don't quite remember how I learned about this, but it's that in the 0 frame, I usually put the first step, and then in the 10th frame I go to the idle or the starting position, and then the other step, and then idle, and then the other step over here to 40, the first step that we made, so that then the animation can loop. But as you can see, this is my last keyframe, and this is the 39th keyframe, and it's a little bit different. The reason I did this is, well, let me just duplicate this and delete this keyframe. Okay, so yeah, let's go to 40. Okay, so if I had this as 40 and this as 0, and they were exactly the same, then this particular frame would play twice, and that would cause a delay. At least that's what I think. So my advice to you is to decrease one frame, and then go to that and hit location and rotation without deleting this one, and then you delete this one, and then I don't quite understand what went wrong with that. I think it was the fact that I needed to be in pose mode. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah, so that's how you do it. That's how I do it, at least, and I think that it's going to work well for you too. Now, if we go over here to the sprint animation, you can see that it's exactly the same, but the moves are kind of amplified, and instead of 10 frames, the difference went to 8 frames. That's just something to keep in mind. Now, in the jump animation, you start from that, and then you do this. Well, I can just get my character to go to that kind of position. Those are all basic animations. Anyway, so I didn't want to get my character to jump from nothing, like there was no gravity. So I figured that I would have this kind of push into the ground, and then the character would rise and then just drop back to this position, and then go to normal, because it needs to be, I wanted it to be as natural as it could, and so this is what I got. I have to admit that it's one of the best animations that I have made for this tutorial. And the idle crowds over here is well, you basically have your character in this position, and then I usually get my characters to breathe, like something to do something like a breathing in the idle animations, but I made those animations last night, and was like really late, so I didn't have enough time. So anyway, yeah, that is basically what it does. It goes naturally up to frame 30, and then to frame 60 it goes like that, and then there is a minor movement like this, but there is a decrease in the speed, and then stays like that, and goes back to normal and loop. So yeah, and this is the idle crowds animation, and let's go ahead and close that. The crowds animation is, I'm very glad you asked, which you didn't, but anyway. So yeah, the idle crowds animation is the crowds animation is basically just like the walk animation, but in this case you don't have to change from, there is no idle positions. The idle position is like you are making the first step. So yeah, so in frame 20 basically I had the other leg come in, and the other foot land, and then back to the same thing, but you know, it's just one frame cropped like I did with the other yeah, the walk animation. I don't remember. I saw, yeah, the walk animation. I've shown that with the walk animation. So anyway, yeah, this is frame 10 is kind of like an in-between frame so that it looks more natural. Frame 10, frame 30 are the same exact frames. They are just there so that it looks more natural. They're in between frames. So during those frames, well, because if I had only had this, the feet would go below the ground. It would be like really stupid. So yeah, I made that correct. So I corrected that, and I also had my character bend to the front a little bit so that there was something like representing movement. Yeah, that was the crouched animation. The idle animation is pretty much whatever you want it to be. There is nothing really that special about the idle animation. Yeah, you can see I had my character breather, and then he looks to the side, and then goes back to normal, and then just that loops over and over again. Yeah, I did not pay that much attention to those. I didn't see the reason why I should. So yeah, let's close that, and eventually let's open up Unreal Engine. So once again, I opened my game beforehand, and then I closed it, and now I'm opening it again because I don't want to waste time with that. First of all, now I'm going to pause while it loads though. Alright, so we're in Unreal Engine, and now we can start pouring in our assets. Okay, so over here, the content, starter content blueprints. Okay, so let me just create a new file and then go characters, and now yes, let me just drop in the character. So go ahead and drop in that FBX file. Now you can see this is going to be created, don't worry about that. And skeleton, none, because we don't have a skeleton. If you do and you want to assign it to a different skeleton, do that, but I usually don't do it. So yeah, make sure you're creating new materials, import mesh, import skeletal mesh, import all, and it's going to import the character. That's going to take a while, or not, but anyway, after that I'm going to apply the materials. Okay, so yeah, over here those materials are going to be more specular, and I'm going to change that by going in here. Okay, so specular, now apply that. We're going to save later. This one takes a while. So yeah, you get the idea of what you need to do to apply those things. I usually only go for specular, but if you want to do more than that, go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to pause the video for now. Alright, so I applied all the materials. Now let's save all of these, and that's going to take a while too. So, but I'm not pausing here so that at least for now, so that I can say that you probably know that the character, that importing characters and making them correct is a painful process. It's not a painful, it's a boring process, at least for me. I don't know about you, but for me it's boring, and it's not that interesting. It's not the most interesting thing that we are going to be doing over here. It's actually just monotonous, and so yeah, I have to save all of these. And also we are going to create some collision for the bones of our character, but for bones of our character, but we're also going to have other collision, but I don't know, I just do this, so I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I'm going to show it to you in case you just want to do something like that. And I think it plays a role in when talking about overlapping with other characters, so it may come in handy, but I always do it, so I don't know if it's going to be that big a deal or not, but yeah. So you can see that over here it says texture, and this is our last material. So after that it's going to be done, and then we're going to import our animations. I also don't know when this video is going to be uploaded. I'm recording right now, and it's Saturday. It's Saturday, September 29th, 2022, and last time I did the editing for for the previous video that I made in Unreal Engine, it took like for the tutorial it took 1 hour to film it, to record it, and then it took 2 to 3 hours for the editing, and then it took 10 hours to render it from Premiere, and then it took another 10 hours to upload it to YouTube. So I don't know when this video is going to be up, but I'm assuming Monday. Well, because I'm probably going to do the editing today as well, or maybe tomorrow, and then I'm going to export it tomorrow, then upload it on Monday, but probably at the end of the day it's going to be up, or maybe a little after midnight, in which case Tuesday. Oh, finally! Damn! Okay, let's open up the physics asset. That was so lengthy once again. Okay, you can see that these bodies over here are not great. These are the collision bodies. So yeah, go ahead and delete all of these, and then go over here in the physics asset, and then go to the settings and switch from hide bones to show all bones. Then character rig, root, and don't select the character rig, but the root is the bone that I have named. Over here, minimum bone size 1. Yeah, capsule, not, yeah, okay, let's go capsule, dominant weight, and then if you have selected all of those, click on add bodies. Okay, so guys, over here we have all of our bodies, our new collision bodies, and then hide bones. Actually, I'm going to leave this like that. Now save the physics asset and look at this, it's much better. So yeah, anyway, just go ahead and close that. Let's create a new folder, name it animations, go inside, then crowds and idle crowds. I'm going to see if I can import all of those at once. Yeah, I can. Now this, but they are going to have the same settings. So skeleton, astro character, skeleton, that's what I named it, so it's not going to be my character or something. Yeah, so don't import the mesh. I don't import the mesh. I don't know what will happen if you do, but I never do so, because it's just an animation. Alright, so import all. Oh, it's going to import all of these, and oh yeah, okay, so when this happens, so when you have two animations that are basically the same, just see which one works. So yeah, over here it says idle crowds character rig, whatever, idle crowds character rig. This one is not going to work. You can see, I don't know why this happens, I'm not sure, but it's just for like 1 or 2 frames, and it messes up the whole thing. So be sure to delete that and force delete, because that's going to, if you use that, it's not going to work, and then you're not going to know what it was. So idle crowds, I don't care about any of the other words in that. So yeah, idle underscore crowds. Unreal Engine doesn't take spaces, so yeah, underscore. Okay, so all the other animations probably work, so you can see over here in the frames that they work. Yeah, you can see the character breathing over here. So yeah, all the other animations, because they have these frames, it means they work basically. And now let's go over here. Well, actually, let's do an animation folder, not an animations, and then drag animations into that. Alright, so if we have more characters, we will also create an astro character animation folder over here. But anyway, animations. Okay, so animation blueprints. Just create that folder and we'll get back to that later. So another new folder, animation BlendSpaces. So yeah, blueprint, the short for blueprints is BP, and BlendSpace is BS. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's how it works. Yeah, so you're going to know what you mean. Okay, so go over here to blueprints. Now let's do a more intuitive part. Go over here to our astronaut blueprint. Don't worry, we're not going to do any coding in this one. What we're simply going to do is go to the viewport, then go to astronaut. Okay, so if you have accidentally deleted something and you can't find it, just go to window and then load layout, default editor layout. So that is going to remove the world settings from here, but don't worry, if you can't see it, go to window and go to world settings. Yeah, that, because the default layout will remove it. Okay, so now control space to load the bar, this asset browser, this content browser anyway. So go to characters, and then okay, yeah, let me just create a materials folder for this. Okay, so select all of these and this as well. This is the texture image, this is the texture material. Yeah, okay, so now you can see we have physics, skeleton, and astro character. So yeah, import the astronaut character over here, the astro character over here, and yeah, basically, yeah, that's what you need to do. Now it's probably going to be up a bit, so yeah, I usually set that to -60. Now that is not enough for that, so let's try -80. Find it so that the capsule actually has this character within, or at least the feet. Well, this is the most important part of this, is that the feet are completely reach the bottom of the capsule. Okay, so now let me just decrease my camera speed, and yeah, the feet are below the capsule. The capsule is basically our main collision, so anything that is below the capsule will go underground. We don't want our feet to be underground, it's not going to be a nice thing to see. Yeah, so I think I need to wait, let me just see. You can see that our character is in T-pose. Don't worry, we are going to fix that. We're going to add the idle animation, don't worry. Okay, so in order to do that, let's go ahead and close that for now. Go to animation, then animation blueprints. So now let's add an animation. Let's go right click animation blueprint. Select our skeleton, create a blueprint. Let's call it Astro BP, Anim BP actually. I'm sorry, yeah, Anim BP. Alright, so let's go ahead and open that up. Now you can see that we have our animations over here. Cool. Now let's go over here. We're in the anim graph. Let's go to result and then state machine. Add new state machine over here. And yeah, let's go inside the state machine and over here to entry. Okay, add state. Right, so the state is going to be idle, walk, sprint, and yeah, that's basically the entry is how we start. Then idle, walk, sprint, this is the first thing that we're going to be doing. And in here, let's go over here. Now let's add the walk animation. For now, this is just temporary because I'm going to show you what the BlendSpace does after that. So as we spawn, we're just going to be walking. It doesn't matter what our speed is, doesn't matter if we're sprinting, doesn't matter if we're standing still, doesn't matter if we're walking, we just walk. Actually, so just so it's a little bit less irritating, I'm going to be using the idle animation. You can see that our character has the idle animation just like it had the walk animation before. Now let's go over here to jump. Okay, add state, this is jump. Alright. Anyway, so over here in jump, let's go over here and make connect the jump animation to that. Right, we can see the animation now. It's not going to show it, it's just going to show this one over here. Okay, now in here is going to be how we switch from the normal animation to the jump animation. Let's make it so that we can go back from the jump animation to the walk, to the idle walk sprint animation. Okay, so I ran a couple of tests, and this is how it's supposed to be. We don't need the ease jumping in the blueprint. At least you know what booleans are, and we're actually going to create a new ease.
Shut up, bitch!
Okay, so over here we are going to do a cast to play. No, wait, it's not named player character. It's named Astro. Not. This is our blueprint. We cast to our blueprint and then return this file later. Those are going to be a little darker, don't worry. I just used them, so this is why they're not. Okay, so as astronaut, let's go over here and promote this to a variable, and let's name that a character reference for later use. And yeah, we might need it. Okay, so I usually do that so that we just have to cast once and then we can use this one. Alright, so let's go to that and do an ease falling. Okay, so this is basically the same as is jumping, but Unreal, it's preset by Unreal Engine. So yeah, that helps us a lot. So yeah, let's go over here, right click to ease falling, promote this to a variable, and now ease jumping. So you can see this is the same name as the variable that we created in the character blueprint. We just don't create it in the character blueprint. Instead, we could do that, and we could cast the character and then character reference, but we don't need to get into much detail. This is just a beginner's tutorial. So yeah. Okay, so ease jumping, and then go over here to the state machine and to go over here to transition, then can enter transition ease jumping. So that works now because we have it in here in the event graph. So this is the variable that we're using now. So if we're jumping, this is basically all you need to remember. Then we can enter the transition to the jump animation. Then if we are not jumping, so let's get it jumping. This is the same thing that we need to do, but we stop jumping after the animation, and then let's add a not boolean over here. Okay, so drag it jumping further to the back, and then yeah, connect this. So it's basically jumping but not is in the middle of that. So if we're not jumping, we can enter the transition back. Alright, so yeah, and now we're here. Actually, yeah, let's add a new state, and this is the crowds. Okay, so let's go into the crowds. Okay, idle crowds for this one too. We're going to use a BlendSpace for that. So for now, this is also temporary. Alright, okay, so connect that to that as well. Okay, so now let's do basically the same thing. Okay, actually, yeah, no, let's just take this one and move it here and ease crouching. So this is set by Unreal Engine as well. We don't need to do that. And then promote to a variable and ease crouching. This is the name of the variable that we need. Alright, so let's go over here and yeah, let me see how we can do this. Perhaps with the sequence. Let's see if that works. Sequence, then 0, then 1. Okay, so what the sequence doesn't remember if I explained that in the previous tutorial. So the sequence Okay, yeah. So the sequence, what that does is it goes from here, and then instead of going straight to this, it does two things or more depending on how many pins we have. But yeah, okay. So first we're going to set the ease jumping, then we're going to set the ease crouching, and let's go here to the transition of the crouching, and if it is crouching. And we're just promoting those two variables because this one only takes booleans and these are not booleans. Okay, so yeah, if it is crouching, just like with the jump, we are going to enter the transition. Now let me just have the not first. Okay, yeah, not boolean, and over here is crouching again. All right. Now let's see if this one works. Okay, so how to do that? Okay, so first of all, let's go to the astronaut blueprint. Let's go over here, and then let's go to well, wait, which one do we need? Okay, Astro Anim BP. Yeah, Astro Anim BP. Go to Astro character and then Astro Anim BP. Cool. So select use animation blueprint and then the name of the animation blueprint that you have created. Hopefully that makes sense. It probably does. Yeah, so yeah, you can see that our character is breathing. That's a good sign, and we're not in T-pose anymore. That's a very good sign because it means that we can actually now that it actually works. All right, so also let's add a spring arm. This is so that we add the camera at the back. You don't need the spring arm, but I'm going to use it. So yeah, let's name that spring arm Astro character. Yeah, Astro character. Yeah, spring arm. Now let's go over here. Let's add a camera now. It's as simple as that. Okay, so add the character into the spring arm over here, and yeah, compile. All right. So now via the spring arm we can control the camera. You can see that however long the spring arm is, this is how much the camera is as well. Okay, so where the camera is at the end of the spring arm, you can find our camera. Okay, so now let's oh shit. Okay, set that to whatever you like. Let's make it 80 and we'll see how that is. Okay, let's first of all, actually, let's place our character over here. We don't need to, but okay, so this is the camera. This is how the camera sees it. So yeah, let's the feet are a little below the ground, but that doesn't matter for now. And yeah, let's make the camera like 200 in length, the spring arm 200 in length. Satisfying enough. Okay, so yeah, let's say that. Okay, that's kind of weird. You can see that we have an offset to the right, but yeah, the idle animation works. That's a good sign. But what is up with this offset? Why is that happening? Now, see, why would that happen? This is it has an offset by default. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, now you can see that our character is in the middle, obviously, but for now we cannot go up and down with the camera just like we did with the first person. Okay, so you can see that we have our running, and well, we can run. The animation doesn't change. I told you that the animation wouldn't change for now. Now you can see that we only have one animation for the idle, the walk, and the sprint. That's kind of stupid. Okay, so over here you can see that we also, if we cross, we also have one animation. The character does not move. We probably need to put the camera a little lower anyway, but if we jump, it's great. Now let me just really quick put the camera a little lower so that we can see our character's legs. And we need to see our character's legs, because how else are we gonna know whether the, actually we can know in other ways, but it's not really that aesthetic. So yeah, okay, I set that to 60. Now let's go over here to animation, then animation, blend spaces. Yes sir. Alright, so animation blend space 1D. Let's see what that is. Okay, so character, let's select the skeleton, then let's name it Astro Walk BS, Astro not BS blend space. Alright, so here, those are pretty fun. These are pretty fun. Alright, the blend spaces are pretty fun. Why did I say that so many times? Anyway, so first of all, you can see we have this axis here with, and then with control and hold down the left mouse button, we can move this. And let me show you what all of those do. First of all, horizontal axis over here, and then the name, set that to speed. Okay, so that we know that it's our speed. This is our speed. So minimum axis value, yeah. Okay, so set the minimum to 0, the max to 600. So this is how the fastest your character can go. Alright, so now over here, let's go over here to idle, and let's take the idle keyframe and set it to keyframe number 0. So the start, if we have no velocity, no speed whatsoever, we are going to set the 0. We are going to set the idle animation to play. So now walk. Alright, set that to 300, and this is our walk speed. Okay, so you can see that as I go to 300, okay, there is a transition, you can see that. So after I am at 300 or greater, we go with this animation, and we switch to this animation, and then let's go over here, drag sprint in. Now we can sprint, and now let's go and set that to 600. So you can see that this is the walk animation, this is the sprint animation. Actually, I think it imported the walk animation again. Yeah, probably. I don't know why. Alright, you can see this is the sprint animation. It does that sometimes, it goes to the other animation, to the lower. Anyway, so yeah, now let's use a we set the smoothing time to be 0.5. I usually do that. You don't really need that, but it's smoother that way. So anyway, so this is the blend space. Go ahead, close that. That's all we need to do. And then let's go over here from character movement, or yeah, try get pawn owner, then get velocity. Alright, so now we have our character's velocity. We get it. We now the program knows what that is, and then now this is our speed, so how fast we are going. That we set that from the character blueprint. If we sprint, we go faster. Alright, so get length, so get vector length. And this is a, yeah, I don't know why, but anyway, promote to variable. Right click, promote to variable, and then this new variable over here, let's name that to speed. All the variables, it doesn't matter what you set, any variable, but you just, it's just so that you know what that is, obviously, so that you know what it does. Alright, so let's go here and let's set those over here. and then I'm going to set that to 0 just because I don't know, I like it more. So yeah, now we have our speed variable, and now, oh yeah, let me just name this locomotion or something. It's just how I learned at the first of me learning Unreal Engine. I don't know why they named it locomotion, but I copied it. So yeah, idle, walk, sprint. Alright, so delete the idle animation and drag in the astronaut BS. This is the BlendSpace again. Alright, so over to speed, connect our speed, and then hit compile. You can see these are the keyframes that we added. Cool, very cool. And yeah, so now we have that, and let's create a new BlendSpace for the for the crowds. So yeah, astronaut crowds BS. All right, and yeah, so yes, smoothing time again 0.0 because we don't want it to be from this to this. Immediately we need it to be smooth. You don't need it, but you can have it definitely. So yeah, let me see what our crowd speed is. I think it is 200, maybe 100, I'm not sure, so let's check that. Okay, so this is our max crowd speed. Go from character movement. Yeah, no, let's set that to 200. I don't like it, that the fact that it's 300. Yeah, let's set it to be like slower. Yeah, so now max is 200. Yeah, 200. Cool. Now idle crowds, insert that, yeah, to frame 0, and then crowds, let's go here to see if it works. Okay, yeah, it's the crowds, the crowds keyframe. Now let's set it to 200, and you can see that this is, yeah, cool. So yeah, it's the max speed. Alright, and now let's delete the idle crowds. Let's drag in the astronaut crowds, the BS, and then yeah, compile that. Actually, yes, speed, set that speed over there, nice speed. Alright, cool. So let's test it out now. Alright, so this is our character. Yeah, and you can see that from idle we can go to walk, and we are walking, normal speed walking. Then we can sprint. You can see the amplified movements on our limbs. Now if we crouch, oh shit, okay, so now if we crouch we go below the ground for some reason. I don't know what that is. I will check, but you can see how the transitions work. So it has something to do with our collision. Alright, so it took me a couple of centuries to fix the problem, because there was another problem after that and another after that, all for the same thing, the crouched person going below the ground. And okay, so yeah, so now you can see that we can crouch correctly over here, because yeah, when we crouch, yeah, our speed decreases to 200 from 300. And let me show you how to fix that. Alright, so let's go to astronaut. So this is the new crouch script. Okay, so let's go over here, off of pressed, set the max walk speed crowds to 200. Although you might have it in the details, it won't work for some reason. It will be somewhere like in between, I don't know why. Now yeah, remember to connect the character movement to the target, and set the relative location of our mesh. So in here, in this case, our astronaut, so our astronaut character, and then set crowds, and then call the crowds function, and then do the same of released. And yeah, and then set it to uncrowds. Yeah, don't worry about these numbers. Okay, so let me show you what those numbers are. First of all, if you go to the capsule half height, the capsule half height is 88. So once you uncrowds, you want it to be minus 88. Don't worry about that. Okay, just set that to the opposite number of this one, so minus 88 if it's 88, minus 100 if it's 100, and so on and so forth. Now let's go over here to the character movement set for crowds. Alright, so over here you can see that the crowds half height of our capsule is going to be half of that, so 44, but the problem is that it shrinks down during that, when you do that, and shrinks down from the top as well as from the bottom, so that the outcome of this is that your legs are going to go below the ground, so half of your character. Yeah, now something else. So how to fix that? Set the opposite number of this one to this one. Set the set a relative location, and this is basically it. So I hope you understand that, but yeah, you will when you get more experience. This is it. This for our first tutorial, for our second tutorial on Unreal Engine, and in the next one I'm probably going to be either showing you how to import a map correctly in Unreal Engine, your own map, without having any problems, it's either going to be that, or it's going to be setting custom animations, and those are the action events. For instance, if you want to punch someone, or if you want to wave at someone or something. Yeah, so yeah, this was it for today, and I hope that you enjoyed. Oh no, now yeah, it's falling, so yeah, I should probably fix that. But yeah, this is it for this tutorial, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.
That's the stuff. I should watch more videos.